Starting your day off with a take on Vegas you won't get anywhere else.
Hi, I'm Holly Madison, and I listen to Brian Shapiro.
Hi, this is William Shatner, and I listen to Brian Shapiro.
Hey, this is Larry the Cable Guy, and I listen to Brian Shapiro. Why? Because I'm a good American. So is he. And if you don't listen to him, you need to pack up and leave this country.
This is the Vegas Take with Sharp and Shapiro.
Welcome all again!
What's up, everybody? It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. Glad you could join us. We make it through the week, baby. We made it. It's Friday. And, oh, yeah, we have a lot to get to, a lot to talk about. Hour number two, going to be getting to the Masters. Tiger Woods was tripped on the golf course, and he is very lucky that he's still playing golf. We'll get to that. That's a crazy one. Of course, the Vegas Golden Knights in Game 2. We'll get to that. The Lakers have parted ways with Luke. We'll talk about that, talk a little Lakers. God, there's so much to get to in the sports with a little UNLV and Magic Johnson, all that stuff coming up in hour number two. A lot of news to get to in hour number one. And as I mentioned throughout the week, J.D. Sharp is not joining me. He's on vacation. He'll be back on Monday. And abortion is a huge topic, and we have a lot of other topics to get to in hour number one. But I am very happy to have with us in studio. It's nice to have a female voice, and you're much more pleasant to look at than my co-host, J.D. Sharp. Melissa Ferris is joining us. She does a podcast called Girl Chat Sports. Her motto, which I find to be very funny, is we don't have balls, but we know how to cover them. It's 6 to 7 on Wednesdays. Melissa, I appreciate you coming in and joining us. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it. And yes, we do not have balls, but we do know how to cover them.
Well, you know what? That's very funny, by the way. This is a perfect subject, and I'm so glad you're here to talk about it, to get a female perspective on this. So at the beginning of the year, 14 states have passed, introduced, or moved forward legislation that would ban abortions performed after about 6 weeks of pregnancy, and conservatives are calling that heartbeat bills because the fetal pulse cardiac activity usually shows up on an ultrasound around 6 weeks in. Abortion bans to this extreme, many people don't even know they're pregnant at 6 weeks, and I think it is completely ridiculous. In the past 3 months, the governors of Kentucky, Mississippi, and Ohio have all signed 6-week abortion bans into law. Now, I think this is utterly and totally insane. Let me give you my opinions on that, and then I want to get your thoughts on this, and we'll take some phone calls on it. First of all, I've been pretty consistent on this from day one since I've been on the radio. I am not one of those anti-abortion people, and I find like a lot of people, not all of them, but a lot of people that are pro-life people, then why are they against bills to cut, food stamps or cutting welfare? If you're such a pro-life person, then why are you cutting all these bills to help people, to help parents raise children? That's number one. Number two, I am not for late-term abortion. I never have been, and I think it is disgusting when women use abortion as birth control. I think everyone's allowed to make a mistake in their life. Nobody is perfect, but I do not respect a lot of these women that have multiple abortions. I just find that to be utterly and totally disgusting. You have to be responsible. What if a young child is raped? Who are we to say you have to have that baby? What if a 15 or 16-year-old girl has sex with her boyfriend, they have a that she gets pregnant? Who are we to say that that's not a decision between her, the boyfriend, and the parents? But that's what many of these conservatives and many of these people on the right are doing. I completely disagree with it. I always have. And, Roe versus Wade, I feel like almost every person that is on the far right is trying to overturn that. Number one, that's not going to happen. And number two, again, many women that are 4, 5, 6 weeks pregnant, they don't even know they are pregnant. So this is, in my opinion, a ridiculous bill. And it's another situation where I think people that are very religious are trying to interfere with other people's lives. And I'll open up the phone lines on that at 257-5396. Again, 257-5396. Okay, so, Melissa, am I wrong here? Do you agree with what I said? Do you disagree? What are your thoughts on this situation in conservatives that are trying to basically ban abortions altogether? This is the first step in that, I believe.
Correct. I'm a pro-choice. I believe that's, as a woman, I think this is a decision that this shouldn't even be argued by men, and any kind of men that's in a legislative predicament. Like, you should be able to, as a woman, this is your choice. My only issue is that, long-term abortion is not okay. When a fetus has grown into a child and a baby, that is not, or in uterus, that's not okay. My issue that I find, though, too, is that coming from a child welfare background, if you're so opposed to these people having abortions because maybe they can't take care of it, they could be young, they could have been raped, they could have had an issue, What are you doing to help them? Are you adopting kids when they're in foster care?
Right.
Are you going out there and ensuring that they have the needs? Are you allowing them to have welfare and to have the Obamacare or to have the health care they need for these kids? Because a lot of these people are taking them away and they're not getting that.
Right.
So what else can you do?
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree 100%. You know, earlier this week, hundreds of abortion abolitionists testified in favor of a Texas bill that would classify all abortions as homicide and remove the line in the Texas Penal Code that exempts women from being charged with murder after getting an abortion. If this bill passes, Melissa, women who get abortions could be eligible for capital punishment. And I've heard people on the right, I've heard Republicans that I've gotten into it with in regards to this abortion issue. Right now, they call women all murderers who get abortions. And I'm not saying every Republican does that, but I've heard some people on the right say that, and it is ridiculous.
What if you're 16 and you get molested?
Exactly.
And what happens to that? I mean, here's the deal. What I find with children, what people don't realize with teens, they're not going to be the first person to admit, oh, I just got raped yesterday. Can you help me? They might not be able to know until, like you said, 4 or 6 weeks on the road when they don't even know that they're pregnant, but they're hiding it from their parents. They're ashamed. They're embarrassed. They're not coming forward with those things. You see all these Me Too and all these campaigns about, no one's coming out about sexual abuse until years later. So think about if you're actually getting raped and you're pregnant. You're not coming out. You're hiding it. You don't want it to happen. You don't want to admit it. So what are we doing to help those people, those kids?
And I hate to compare this to Mike Pence and his relationship with God and whatever he wants to talk about, what a wonderful Christian he is. But, you know, he gets, in my opinion, he lets religion interfere with his policy when it comes to homosexuality and that sort of thing. And to me, many people on the right that talk about abortion let their religious beliefs interfere with other people's lives. I completely disagree with it. I'm tired of it. And this is, to me, a very dangerous first step for conservatives trying to get rid of the abortion issue altogether. And I'm just not for it. We'll open up the phone lines on this. What do you guys think about this? If you think myself or Melissa are wrong, I would love to hear from you in regards to abortion. I think this is absolutely and utterly disgusting. I am not for late-term abortion, but this 6-week deal, this thing that they're passing, conservatives calling it the heartbeat bill, to me is completely and utterly ridiculous and disgraceful. The number to call if you want to be a part of the show, 257-5396. Open up the phone lines. Again, that number to call if you want to be a part of the discussion, 257-5396. I don't understand. If you are anti-abortion, whatever you do with your family, do what you want. If you don't want to have an abortion, you don't want your child to have an abortion or somebody close to you in your family, then don't have an abortion. But stop trying to put your views on other people that disagree with you. I just can't stand it. And it just seems like in this day and age, whatever, people use religion as an excuse for policy. And I for the life of me, man, I just don't understand it. It just fires me up. It turns me into a tomato. And I absolutely.
You are wearing red today, so.
I am wearing red. That's true. Well, we'll take a couple phone calls on this. We'll see what you guys think out there. Would love to hear from some women as well. 257-5396. Again, that number to call, 257-5396. Let's start with James leading it off. James, thanks for calling into the Vegas Take. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good, James. What's on your mind with this issue?
Hey, I listen to you, and this is why we don't get along as a country, because you guys go talking about the far right, and that's an extreme view, and I agree with that. But you forget to the far left.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to get legislators that are going to introduce laws because of, they're countering what's going on the far left. Look at that bill. I think it was New York, where it was like, practically an infanticide bill. That and Democrats have said this. They say a woman has a right to have an abortion all the way up to the moment of birth.
Which I don't agree with.
And a lot of people don't. But when you have that extreme, of course you're going to get the extreme on the right. And then the language.
So can I ask you a question, James? Has there been any bill that has been put forth that would allow a woman to get an abortion right up to birth, unless there are serious health issues and health consequences? I haven't heard a Democrat put forth a bill. The reason why I bring up the extreme right is because in the last 3 months, governors of Kentucky, Mississippi, and Ohio have passed bills. They've passed bills, 6-week abortion bans into law. They're calling it the heartbeat bill. I call it the ultra-right nutty bill. That's what I would call it.
Well, okay, and that's 3 states out of 50. It
doesn't matter, though.
Wait a minute, hold on. But we've had bills on the other side. There are women who are having abortions much later in life or much later in the pregnancy than than what Kentucky's allowing, as an example. Now, Kentucky, they were elected by their state to pass these laws. If the people in Kentucky don't like those laws, they can vote them out and vote somebody in and says, hey, you can have an abortion up to this point.
But you're stating the obvious. You're stating the obvious. I'm just telling you I disagree with it. Just like I disagree with what you brought up about abortions right before pregnancy, James. I disagree with that also.
And we agree with that. But then again, it's the language out there. And then you have the right to life using words like it's a woman's health issue. Now, come on, let's be honest. How many abortions? Wait a minute. Hang on. What percentage of abortions, and give me an honest answer, please. What percentage of abortions are performed because the woman's life is in danger? And what percentage of abortions are performed because a 16-year-old was raped?
Probably a very, very small amount, but just because that is a small amount, I'm not going to go and talk to that family and say, well, this doesn't happen very much, so you don't matter. I'm not about to say that, James. I appreciate the call. I got to get to some other calls, James. I appreciate the call. You made some valid points there, but I'm not talking about the extreme left right now. I'm talking about the news of the day, and I'm talking about this specific subject. And the people on the far right that are trying to pass this bill are clowns. That's what I'm trying to say. We can talk about the far left, too, and I agree with you. Like you said, abortion right before pregnancy, that's disgusting. Unless there are health issues involved, I'm sure you would agree, Melissa.
My thing would be more so is if they're passing these bills to make this illegal, what are they doing to help those women that can't have the abortion now to help take care of those children?
Exactly. That's a very valid point. 257-5396 if you want to be a part of the program. Let's go to Jeff. Jeff, thanks for calling in. How are you?
Hey, Brian.
What's up, Jeff?
Hey, I just would like to point out that how do you make I understand you don't like the idea of a late-term abortion, but what's your rationale? I mean, it's logically inconsistent to say at past this point, I think it's inhumane, but before that, it's okay.
No, I disagree.
It's the potential for a human life no matter when you do it.
I completely disagree with you because I think when a baby
you can disagree with me, but you don't really stand on any kind of logical ground.
If you'll let me give you, can I give a response, or are you just going to talk over me? Okay, thank you. I appreciate that, Jeff. So 6, 7, 8 weeks of a fetus, of a baby, far different than we are 5, 6, 7 months into a pregnancy. Do you need me to?
How's it different? I mean, let's get down to details. How's it different, Brian?
Are you trying to be facetious with me, or you really want me to answer that question because you don't understand? The brain isn't fully developed at 6, 7, 8 weeks. Do you not understand that? You don't understand that logic?
Brian, can I interrupt you for a second? A child's brain has not fully developed at 2 years old. So, I mean, what has that got to do with anything?
You really want to compare a 2-year-old child to a fetus that is 6 weeks? You think they are exactly the same? Your rationale doesn't make sense.
The brain is not fully developed.
I'm telling you that a fetus that is 6 or 7 or 8 weeks is very different than a baby inside the womb 5, 6, 7, 8 months. Do you not? If you don't understand that logic, I don't know what to tell you, Jeff.
The only difference, Brian, is the amount of time between those 2 points.
And I believe, in my personal opinion, that a mom has the right to have an abortion. Clearly you don't. And that is the argument you're trying to make with me. Let's just call it for what it is, Jeff.
I haven't really expressed it one way or the other.
You are anti-abortion, yes or no? Are you anti-abortion, yes or no?
I am for abortion in cases of rape, incest.
Okay, so you are so if there's no rape or incest, you are anti-abortion.
I don't think you can make a good case for it otherwise.
Well, that's your opinion. I don't think you're making a good case. You just compared a 6-week-old inside a womb to a 2-year-old child. So goodbye, Jeff. Thank you for the call. I appreciate it, but you're the one that's not making any sense. I mean, I'm sorry. Melissa's staring at me like, wow, look what I got myself into. It's unbelievable. These are the calls I get. I got to go after them, man.
Hey, your opinions, my opinions, we can have our own opinions. You know what I mean?
At least he called up and he said, if a woman is raped.
No, and that's totally respectful.
I respect that, but how could you compare a 2-year-old to a 6 weeks in the womb?
What he mentioned was also a potential for life. The thing is that what you said by saying potential is that it's not even necessarily life yet. So you said a potential for life. So therefore, I get it. If it's like you said, 7, 8 months. I mean, you've got a child in you.
Right. 257-5396, the number to call if you want to be a part of this conversation. Again, 257-5396. That's right. The ultimate far right. 3 months ago, governors of Kentucky, Mississippi, and Ohio all signed the 6-week abortion ban into law, and I think it is ridiculous. Let's go to Larry. Larry, thanks for calling in. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good.
What's up, Larry? What's on your mind?
If you believe life begins at conception, of course you're going to fight for a child. I don't understand why that confuses you.
It doesn't confuse me, Larry. Here's what confuses me, or here's what angers me. You have the right to feel that way. I respect that opinion. If you have a daughter or your wife or whatever the case may be personally, you have the right to make sure or to at least convince your wife or your daughter or whoever to not have an abortion. And guess what? I don't have a problem with that. What I have a problem with are the people out there, and I'm not saying you, the people out there like the governor of Kentucky, Mississippi, and Ohio that want to push their beliefs or their religious beliefs on everybody. That you need to give people a choice. Not everybody agrees with you. Not everybody agrees with the governors of Kentucky, Mississippi, and Ohio. That is the point I am trying to make. It's just like many people don't agree with Mike Pence. If Mike Pence had it his way, there would be no such thing as the word homosexual, and no homosexuals would probably be allowed to go to school, because his wife works at a school where they don't allow homosexuals to work there or go to school there. Do you understand? But that is a very dangerous precedence. We need to give people choices, Larry. I don't have a problem if that's your opinion. Do you understand where I'm coming from?
Sure, but all medical science supports that is a human life. That what Jeff was just talking about. There's. I don't know. Have you ever watched any video like of abortion?
What does that have to do with my opinion?
I've also watched videos of surgeries. I don't want to watch either one.
Yeah, I mean, they're not very pleasant to watch.
You're trying to say there's a huge difference between the two, but, they've proven repeatedly, if they do ultrasounds of a abortion, they can, even at 6 weeks, they can see that the fetus is fighting.
I didn't say they couldn't see the fetus, but my definition of life is different than yours. That's all.
But it's showing all the signs of life of even, if we act all the same ways as a 2-year-old.
Hey, Larry, I had a question. Larry, my question for you, though, is if someone were to tell you how to do something with your body, would you allow me to make a rule and a law in the state to do that? Would that be okay with you if I told you that you can't wear jeans anymore? Are you okay with that men can't wear jeans? Can you be okay with that?
If it was an issue of keeping another person alive or causing death.
Yeah, but that's not what we're talking about. That's not what we're talking. That's not the point that she was trying to make. The point that Melissa was trying to make is, how would you like it if somebody told you how to live your life and told you how to do something if you disagreed with it, but the government told you had to do it? You wouldn't agree with that. What if we said, men who wear Speedos are disgusting? By the way, I do feel that way, Larry. I don't want to see you in a Speedo, and trust me, you don't want to see me in a Speedo either.
I've seen too many.
Right, but okay.
Whoa,
I don't
where
know.
are you at, Larry?
Yeah, I don't know. You're hanging out at the Chippendale show too much, Larry. But I think you understand what we were trying to say, Larry, and I respect your opinion. You have the right to that opinion.
Yes.
But the problem, we're going back in circles here, is people shouldn't tell other people what to do. And again, late-term abortion, not for it. I don't agree with it. But if you have a legal abortion, you should have the right to do that. And many people on the right, conservatives, are trying to take that away from you. That was a very logical question that you asked, and I noticed he didn't like it and he didn't want to answer it. Shocker. 257-5396 if you want to be a part of the show, 257-5396. Let's go to Cameron. Cameron, thanks for calling in. How are you, Cameron?
I'm doing good.
What's on your mind?
I just wanted to clarify something that actually I would like to ask a question. Do you believe that it's actually immoral to kill babies?
Are you talking about a baby that was born?
Doesn't matter. Kill babies.
No, it does matter.
It does matter.
Yes, it does matter, Cameron.
No. There's no difference.
Yes. That is your opinion. I disagree with that premise.
Of when you're still ending a life, it's potential life.
That is your opinion. Exactly.
That is the opinion of the right. They believe that killing babies before they're born is
okay. Well, I disagree with you, and I'm not on the right or the left. You know what I think?
That is the right. So they have the right to that opinion, and that's what a lot of them, that's what they believe.
So why can't they just live like that? Why do they have to pass bills and affect other people that disagree, Cameron? That's the point I'm trying to make. Why?
Because the problem is that when there is an abortion, I pay for it. I don't want to pay for it.
First of all,
but guess what? You're paying for an abortion, correct? Right?
I'm paying for it, but abortion,
okay.
I don't want anything to do with it.
Okay, so you don't want to pay for the abortion, sir.
And say, I want to check a box that says I don't want to pay taxes for all these abortions. Then
so Cameron, if you're not wanting to pay for the abortion, that means that you should feel okay with paying for their health care, for their food stamps, for their welfare, for those that can't take care of them. I mean, that's what you're saying. So you got to pick one or the other. You can't take both sides.
Thank you.
But you can't basically say that there's nothing immoral or unethical about killing babies before
I
they're
think there's
born.
something immoral.
Well, I think you saying killing babies is the wrong word,
yeah,
too.
yeah, exactly. I think there's something
No,
immoral.
It is the same.
Well, that's your
Does the-
opinion. Shouldn't it be a sin to take away
Does
food stamps from a?
everybody have the right to be born, or do we have the right to abort?
It should be the mother's choice. It's not your
Yeah,
choice.
it
I know
shouldn't
that
be your
much.
choice. You have absolutely
Why is
nothing to
the
do with it.
mother's choice. It's not even
Correct.
their baby.
It is the
agree.
mother's
It's not even
choice.
part of their body.
I agree. It should be the mom's choice, and a lot of people like you want to make choices for them. I'm sorry, Cameron. I disagree.
I actually believe in abortion. I believe in abortion all the way up to
So we
all the way
agree.
up to full life.
So we agree. What are we arguing about
my
then?
kids are jerks, and I just want to end their life at any point in time.
Okay, well, that's Cameron.
Thank you,
I
Cameron.
appreciate the call, but that was one of the most idiotic statements we've had in quite some time. That has nothing to do with the conversation, Cameron. I appreciate the call, though. Thank you for calling in. Okay, I believe our next call is Wilfrey. Wilfrey, thank you for calling into the Vegas Take. How are you, Wilfrey?
Well, thank you, Brian. I am always ceased to amaze at your intensity of hate for the right wing. But anyway,
no, I don't hate the right. I don't hate the right. That's not true. I voted for people on the right. What I do is I hate people. I guess hate is a very strong word. I dislike people, Wilfrey, that want to impose their religious beliefs on others.
okay, so I retract the word hate because it isn't.
No problem. Go ahead, Wilfrey. What's your point?
Well,
Go ahead.
I have a bit of an agreement with you. Here's the point. I think the term abortion is a wrong discussion. It's a state of denial. What it's really about is the female to breed at will with outcomes to their discretion. And in my world, honey, you can breed all you want, but you feed them, period. And if you have an abortion with my money, I have a right to know. You can abort, kill, do whatever you want to do. Honey, when you part them legs, you own it. If you're going to use my money to kill it, I deserve a right to know. You can kill all day long because if you're that type of a female just wants to breed, if you're a breeder.
That type of female, sir? I don't even know about this.
Yeah, what do you mean?
What would be that type of female?
I don't know where you're going with that, Wilfrey, but I appreciate the call. Thank you for calling in. Let's try to get a woman's perspective here besides Melissa.
Is there any women out there? Please.
Let's go to Donna. Donna, thank you for calling in to the Vegas Take. Donna, how are you? Donna,
Is it Donna or is it Dana?
I apologize, Dana. Dana, how are you?
I'm fine.
What's on your mind?
I'm fine. I just want to put my 2 cents into this.
Please,
Sure.
Dana.
To me, an abortion is beyond disgusting. I don't care if it's late term or the woman has an abortion within a month or whatever. To me, it's just flat out murder. There's people that are trying to have babies that cannot, that are going out of this country because adopting a baby in this country has been so expensive. To me,
Okay.
it's disgusting.
It's actually not that
Women are
expensive if you go to your
getting
local,
pregnant
if you go to your
and killing
state,
their
if you go to your state child protective or Department of Family Services offices, it's not that expensive to actually adopt a child.
And I agree with that. Here's the 2 words that you said, Dana, that I think resonates with me. To me. These are your opinions, and you're entitled to your opinions, and nobody can make you have an abortion. That is the key, the country that we live in, okay? But what conservatives and many of these people on the right are trying to do are trying to make and force your opinions on everybody. That's not the country we live in, and I don't think that's fair, Dana.
Okay, let me make a comparison here. To me, having an abortion is nothing more than killing a baby. So, in other words, they should pass a law that if I want to kill my next door neighbor or somebody else,
that's ridiculous.
That's going to be okay.
That's ridiculous.
Right?
That's a ridiculous opinion.
Not
Yes, it is.
ridiculous.
It's completely
I'm sorry.
ridiculous.
It's
You are
flat out
comparing.
murder.
No, that's ridiculous.
Killing a baby
That is a ridiculous
nothing more
opinion.
than
You are
murder.
comparing going
Dana,
to your.
has anybody in your family ever been raped before?
No.
Okay, well then we'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Okay, Dana, we appreciate the call. Thank you very much. When you compare killing your neighbor to a legal early term abortion, that is an idiotic comparison, Dana. And I respect your opinion, but I could not. I think it's an idiotic opinion. So I guess I don't respect it. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Let's go to Wayne. Wayne is next. Wayne, what's up?
How are you this evening?
I'm doing good, Wayne. What's up?
Just want to bring a different perspective.
Fair enough.
I'm an independent, so
Okay.
I'm neither on the left or on the right. The question I have is we always go back to it's strictly the woman's choice. For somebody who is almost 60 years old that has paid almost $250,000 in child support in his lifetime, where does the man get a say-so?
Well, I think you had your say so when you stuck something in somebody.
That's true.
But you
Can't argue with that.
You said something earlier that
Yes.
would you like the law forcing something on you? But as the man, the law does force something on me. If I chose not that I didn't want the child,
Mm-hmm.
I may pay $60,000
Well, there's a
over
couple
an
things.
18-year period for her decision. As a man, when do I get involved in?
Well, my opinion is if you're going to have intimate relations with a woman, you should probably have that discussion before you do so. In a perfect world, everybody would do that. Also,
And it's not a perfect world.
yeah,
let's be
and it's not a
honest.
perfect world, but listen, if you have a discussion with that woman and she demands that she wants the baby and you don't want the baby, unfortunately, it's her body and she's going to be the ultimate one to make that decision. And I don't disagree with that.
Well, I just wanted to get a different perspective. Like I said, I had a relationship that somebody said, "Oh, I could not get pregnant." They got pregnant.
Right.
I love the child. I paid myself for it. I kept the health insurance on my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
We commend you. Thank you.
But the entire conversation is nowhere is the man's point of view in this whole discussion actually brought up.
I don't disagree with you, Wayne, and that is a very good point. Point well taken, and I appreciate the call. Thank you very much, Wayne. Yes. So we have a couple women on hold.
Okay.
I hope that they can stay on hold. We have Sky and Bonnie that are going to be up next. The number to call, 257-5396. Again, 257-5396. I just found out that Sky is a guy. I apologize. Bonnie,
okay.
I would imagine Bonnie is a woman. So we'll get to their calls when we come back. If you'd like to join the program, we do have a few phone lines open. We've got Melissa Ferris in studio. Again, the number to call, 257-5396, 702-257-5396. Did Donald Trump say that he was going to pardon somebody at the border if they broke the law? Yeah, we'll get to that coming up next. Again, you're listening to the Vegas Take. Give us a buzz, 257-5396. We will take a quick break. We will get to our callers on the other side of the break. It is the Vegas Take on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM KDWN. We'll be back right after this. All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. Melissa Ferris from Girl Chat Sports in studio. And perfect subject. I'm so glad she is here because we're talking about the abortion subject. And I think she's like, oh, my God, what did I get myself into? But we're having a good time on a very serious subject, and we're taking your calls at 257-5396. We'll get to the calls in a second here. President Donald Trump telling a Customs and Border Protections commissioner that he would pardon him if he was ever sent to jail for having border agents block asylum seekers from entering the U.S. This is the President of the United States, who is representing our country, who is telling the Customs and Border Protection Commissioner to break the law with these asylum seekers. Does that bother any of you? Does it bother any of you that the president is telling someone to break the law, but it's okay because I will pardon you? First of all, who would believe him and who would think that he was telling the truth, number one? And number two, that's got to bother a lot of people. 257-5396, the number to call, in studio with Melissa Ferris. Let's go to the phones. Let's check in with Bonnie. Bonnie, thanks for waiting patiently on hold. How are you? Bonnie, are you there?
Hey, Bonnie.
I don't hear Bonnie. I think Bonnie has left the building. Let's go to Sky. Sky, thank you for calling into the Vegas Take. How are you? Did we lose Sky as well? Uh-oh, what's going on with our phone lines? Give us a call back if we lost you. We will keep moving on. Hopefully the lines are working properly. Let's go to Alyssa. Alyssa, thanks for calling in. How are you, Alyssa?
Alyssa?
Have we lost everybody that's called in? There's something really wacky going on with the phone lines. I don't know what's going on here. But we will keep trying. We will keep going from caller to caller, and if the lines don't work, the lines don't work, I guess. I don't know. It's weird. All right, let's go to Jim. Jim, thanks for calling into the Vegas Take. Are you there, Jim?
Hey, Brian. How are you?
All right.
Woo, we got a winner.
What's up, Jim? What's on your mind?
Okay. It just amazes me the amount of buffoonery that this discussion brings out in people.
Don't use my word, Jim. Don't use my word. It's my word. That's okay. Go ahead. Go ahead, Jim.
I do it in love. Brother.
I agree. I agree with what you're saying. Go ahead. Yep.
Now, my question is, where was this level of outrage when Governor Northam in Virginia signed his bill that would allow termination of pregnancy up to the moment of delivery?
Yeah, I agree. That's a good point, and you're right. That's fair. That's completely a fair point. And as I've stated always, and I stated today, myself and Melissa, we are not for that. I don't want that to happen, and I think that's a disgusting bill.
Correct.
But that guy,
right.
that guy's a disgrace to begin with.
Now we've got both ends of the spectrum.
Right. Yeah, and we got to reach some middle ground. Here's what I think, Jim. Tell me what you think about this. There should be a law put in place. A woman should not be allowed to have more than 2 abortions. If you have a second abortion and you're someone who has a third, a fourth, a fifth, there's something wrong with you, okay? This isn't just a mistake that made. If you're using abortion as birth control, that's disgusting.
That's not okay.
Let's put a number on it, okay? Let's keep track of these things. And early-term abortion, if you're 4 or 5 months pregnant and all of a sudden you decide, you know what, I don't think I want to have this baby. No, you can't do that either. So I think there needs to be, again, you have to reach across the aisle to both sides and come up with something that makes sense.
Well, I would agree with that. However, you know what? If you want to use your money to pay for it, have all you want.
Yeah. Yeah. To an extent.
Well, I will say this. Most people that I know that have had an abortion have paid for their own money and have had to put money, or it's not something that's cheap, and not many people get it for free.
That's true.
Right. I understand that. And I have no problem with using taxpayer funding for lower income people and people in economic disadvantages to have free birth control.
Yeah, I agree. Jim, this was such a good call that I'm going to send you a TJ Otzelberger signed mini basketball. That's how much that's how much I like you, Jim.
Use it proudly.
Like I said, get me a signed resignation letter from the athletic director at UNLV. I will buy you season tickets to UNLV for the next 10 years.
See, that's why Jim is always my favorite caller. Good to hear from you, Jim. Thank you so much. All right, 257-5396. I was serious, though. I'll get an autographed basketball for him. 257-5396. Let's go to Bonnie. Bonnie, I hope you are there. I think we got disconnected earlier.
Bonnie back?
Yeah, no, I actually had you on mute. I accidentally put it on mute.
A lot of people.
I'm sure people do that on occasion.
Yeah, it sounds like
yeah, I
Bonnie,
did that with my chin.
Well, Bonnie, that sounds like one of my dates, so I'm used to that. It's okay.
Oh, no.
All right, Bonnie, what's on your mind? What do you think about this issue?
I just want to say that this is a very sensitive subject.
It certainly is.
Really, I agree with Melissa about Melissa, right?
Yes. Thank you, Bonnie.
About, I think men should just stay out of it. Because unless you experience the rape and unwanted pregnancy that way, I don't think you can ever really have anyone really understand what you're going through. And I believe that women should have a choice.
Yes.
With what they want to do.
Yeah.
And I don't think women are. I mean, I'm sure there's some that use that as birth control, which is not cool at all. But I don't think young women or women that have been raped should have to keep that pregnancy if it's unwanted. And
right. I couldn't agree with you more.
And I don't usually call. I've never called on the radio
Thank
station.
you, Bonnie, for calling.
You're doing very well.
You know why I called? It's because that other guy, the guy that was saying something about breeding.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, what?
Bonnie,
I'm hearing all these guys.
Bonnie, this is what I have to deal with every day. That guy who just called in, do you remember when Donald Trump said if I shot somebody on Fifth Avenue, they would still vote for me? Remember when Hillary Clinton brought up the word deplorable? That gentleman who called in is what Hillary Clinton was talking about. That was a deplorable human being. Bonnie, it's good to hear from you, and I'm so glad you called, and I hope you continue to call in. Fantastic call. You made a lot of sense there.
Thank you, Bonnie.
Let's go to Shirley. Shirley, thank you for calling into the Vegas Take. How are you, Shirley? Shirley, can you hear me?
Hey, Shirley.
Shirley, you're on with the Vegas Take.
Yes, I'm 100% against abortion, mainly because, to start with, babies are started at conception, and the only thing after that is added nourishment. That's it. They're a baby from conception on. Nourishment.
What do you mean nourishment? I'm very confused.
Nourishment. Anything that gives them life.
So if they
grow on.
So if you're you disagree with abortion because you believe a fetus that is 1 week or 2 weeks old inside the womb, because they can nourish, that's your reason why you're against abortion?
They're being nourished, and there's nothing added after that. They are a baby from the
So they're a baby from the time the sperm hits an embryo. Is that what you're saying?
That's
That's conception, right? Is
yes.
when the sperm. So that's a baby, is what you're saying?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
All right. Well,
Nothing is added after that except nourishment.
All right. Well, I mean, we'll agree to disagree on that. I respect that opinion. I just completely disagree with you. No, I do not think when the sperm hits the embryo, that is a human being. No, I just we're just going to disagree on that one, and there's really nothing more to say on it. I just disagree with you.
Thank you for your call, Shirley.
Yeah, it's fine. 257-5396 is the number to call. Again, 257-5396. Sorry if you got disconnected there. Please give us a call back. Let's go to Tim. Tim, thanks for calling in. How are you?
Great.
What's up, Tim?
I'd like to keep abortion safe and legal, especially because of the atrocious job we do as a culture of teaching sex ed in our schools.
Bingo.
There you
go. It's the same people who don't want abortions, who do not want comprehensive sex ed in the schools.
And not only that, Tim, I'm so glad you brought that up, and I couldn't agree with you more. What about? Let me ask you a question, Tim, because I kind of alluded to this earlier. What about the people on the right that are pro-life? But then when the baby is born and the parents are in a horrible situation, many people on the right want to cut unemployment. They want to cut food stamps. They want to cut welfare. What do you think about those people that are so pro-life, but when it comes to putting policy into place to help people that are struggling, they want to cut it? How could you be pro-life and cut all that stuff?
Right. They're also usually for the death penalty.
Right. Yeah, there you go. Oh, my God. Yeah, there you go. George W. Bush, although he looks like a great president compared to the man we have right now, he was so for the death penalty. And remember when he was a governor? I mean, he was executing people left and right there. But you want to be, pro-life. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. It's Tim we're talking to.
Tim, you made a great point, because I can remember, I'll say this, I'm 40, and when I was in middle school, we had a sex ed. I have never seen or dealt with, and having worked with kids before, there's not too many people out there in general and in middle school, high school that are getting sex ed education. No one's getting that here at all.
I could have used some sex education when I was in high school.
I mean, I believe it is abstinence only, which I think is a big mistake.
Huge mistake.
Yeah.
And then we see how it's reaping benefits here now. I mean,
I hear stories, and not that I'm for this, but middle school students that are actually doing sex acts in school.
Well, girls are developing faster these days, and so as the younger you are, the younger you're able to get pregnant, and they don't realize that. You don't think at you're 10 you can get pregnant,
right?
But some can.
That's true. Tim, so good to hear from you. I appreciate the call. Good call.
Tim.
Thank you so much. 257-5396 is the number to call. Again, that number to call is 257-5396. Let's go to Chuck. Chuck, thanks for calling in. How are you, Chuck?
Hey, what's up, guys?
How's it going? What's on your mind?
Hey, you guys ever watched, what is it, on MTV, 16 and Pregnant, or what that show is?
Yes.
Melissa has. I have.
This is what high school should devote one period a day for all the kids to watch this.
It's a good point.
Recommended.
Yeah.
Enforced,
you watch that, you don't even want to have sex after you watch that show.
Especially with some of the girls and guys. You double think your expectations in a man or a woman after that.
No, I am all for that, but if you listen to certain right-wing hosts on Fox News, they think it's disgusting that there's all this sex education. I agree with you, Chuck. I think we need more of that in our school system.
You got to teach these kids that, you get a girl pregnant, that's for life, brother.
I agree, Chuck.
My dad taught me two things when I was growing up. 1, don't drink and drive. And 2, if you have sex, wear a condom.
And 3, don't go on a radio show with a 38-year-old bald white guy.
Wearing a red shirt.
Chuck, good to hear from you. Good call. I appreciate it, my man. Thank you. 257-5396. We got Matt on hold. Matt, thanks for calling into the Vegas Take. How are you?
Yeah, I was just calling in. I'm very pro-life. I believe that, if you lay down with a woman and you have sex and you conceive a baby, it's as far as like a man's perspective, because he had a caller earlier about, his thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if a man lays down with her, yes, he's taking that risk.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, if a baby's conceived, he's totally out of the picture.
Mm-hmm.
He don't get no choice. He had the choice to do that, but he don't get a choice in raising his own child.
And I agree with I understand what you're saying, Matt. There's a lot of responsibility, but we all could agree we've all made mistakes in our life. All sorts of different mistakes. Doesn't necessarily mean you get somebody pregnant at a young age. All I'm trying to say, Matt, is that's who you are. I respect your opinion. What I don't like are people that have that opinion and use their religious beliefs and try to push policy on others that might disagree, Matt. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I didn't push no religion nor policy.
And I didn't
Right,
say,
and that's
I
what
didn't
we're
say you
saying.
did.
We appreciate you.
No.
Everybody has their own opinion,
Matt,
but the fact when you're making a law that makes that your own personal opinion into law for others to have to follow, that's what we don't agree with.
Matt, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about some of these politicians out there that are way right. Christians that are way right that are pushing it. I'm not saying you are.
Yes.
Yeah. Matt, it's good to hear from you. I respect your opinion. I appreciate the call. Usually when I lie down with a woman, Melissa, we don't get past second base, so I don't have to worry about that. Let's go to John. John, thanks for calling in. How are you, John?
Good, thank you. How are you doing?
Doing good, John. What's on your mind?
Well, here's some food for thought. A person is declared dead when they no longer have any brain activity and the heartbeat has stopped.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't we declare someone alive when there is a heartbeat and there is brain activity?
Because they're inside a human body and they're not outside of a human body, and it's a completely different circumstance, and I just don't agree with that analogy.
So that means you can kill someone at the 9th month while they're still in the baby?
We don't agree with that. No.
Like Melissa and I have
that
said,
was your definition.
like Melissa and I have said, I don't agree with a late-term abortion, but you are comparing a human being outside of a body compared to someone inside a body, and to me, those are two completely and totally different things. Okay, I don't agree with late-term abortion. I've been very consistent on that opinion. I believe it is the woman's responsibility that if a mistake is made, and yes, it is a mistake, nobody's perfect, that you have to make a decision within a certain amount of time. It has to be a legal abortion. And I also don't agree with women out there that use abortion as birth control. I find that to be utterly disgusting.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right, John. Appreciate the call. I try to be as honest as I can. I've been saying that throughout the hour, haven't I? I mean, inside a womb and a human being, those are two completely different things. We had an idiotic woman call in the first segment. Yes, I think she's an idiot when she wants to compare killing your neighbor to 3 or 4 weeks.
That was a bit drastic.
Yeah, I mean that was just idiotic. Let's go to Stu. Stu, thanks for calling in. How are you?
Welcome, fine. Thank you very much.
Go ahead, Stu.
Well, I hear you talk a lot about right-wing Christians. I'm a right-wing Jew. Is that okay? Is that,
you know what? You can be right-wing anything, and I don't have a problem with that. You know what?
I'm just pulling your leg a little.
That's okay, Stu. What's on your mind, my friend?
One of the things I wanted to say is and the gentleman, first of all, I agree with, there was a lady early on that said really only a woman can truly address an abortion issue, and I have to agree with that.
Mm-hmm. I don't disagree.
I'm never going to carry a child, so I really can't make that decision.
So let me ask you this, Stu. What do you think about all these men that are on the right that are putting all these laws into place? What do you think about that?
Well, I think they need to ask their wives if they're doing the right thing or not.
Yeah, well, maybe they haven't.
I'm going to guess that the wives in those relationships probably don't have much of a say.
Perhaps not, Stu. Yeah, perhaps not. Stu.
It's a tough decision. I mean, I've been married 50 years, and I met my wife.
Congratulations.
In California. Thank
Congratulations.
you.
That's awesome.
One day, proposed that night, got married 2 months later.
Oh.
Well, you sound like a good dude. I respect your opinion on that, but let me ask you a question, Stu. Let's rewind 50 years. How old were you 50 years ago, if you don't mind me asking?
No, I was 23. She was 17.
Okay, what if you got her pregnant then?
I did.
And what did she do?
She said we were together, and she goes, I'm going to have a baby.
So what if she said to you, and I'm perfectly cool with that. I'm glad that you guys raised a wonderful child, I am sure. But what if she looked at congratulations, I think that's great. But what if she looked at you and said, I don't think I want to have this baby. Are you okay if we have an abortion? What would you have said back then? Rewind 50 years.
No.
Really? Okay. Well,
I would have. Yeah. In my opinion, I would say no, because there would have been no reason for it. If she didn't want the baby, I would have, Chris, who was our first, I would have taken him and raised him as my own.
But she would have had the right.
50 years ago, you probably could have. But this day and age, it's a woman's state in most states. And unfortunately, they have that option to be able to make that.
But again, Stu, it's a good call, and I appreciate your opinion.
Thank you,
Congratulations, by the way, 50 years.
Cheers to you, too.
That is awesome. 50 years, 3 great kids. And you know what? I'm glad. I'm glad it worked out for you, and I'm glad you didn't have an abortion. But your situation was probably very different than many other situations. Let's go to Annette. Annette, thanks for calling into the Vegas Take. How are you? Thank you for the call, Annette. I appreciate it. She
no.
Yeah, she not to make a joke or light of this, but she aborted the phone call. Yeah, she did. Let's go to Tony.
Maybe a little too soon there, huh?
Too soon. Let's go to Tony. Tony, thank you for calling into the Vegas Take. How are you?
Good. How you guys doing?
Doing okay,
Hi,
Tony.
Stu.
What's on your mind?
Tony.
Not much. So this subject comes up a lot, and it's always black and white. It's always left and right, or yes or no. But I think most people in America fall into the gray area in the middle. And
Would you say I'm in the middle?
It would be nice to see a politician write laws that fall into the gray area as well.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Earlier, you made the comment that somebody using it as contraception isn't right, and I agree with that because I know someone who's had nine abortions.
Lord.
That's utterly disgusting.
So my question is, how many is too many?
Well, I did mention this at the beginning of the segment. Yeah, if you talk about gray area, and I appreciate the call, Tony, I'm going to try to answer this question for you. I'm going to put the number at 2. If you make 2 mistakes and you have 2 abortions, that is enough. In a perfect world, I would say 1 should be enough. But I would start with a law that would say 2. Once you have that second abortion, you are done. Either if you're going to have sexual relations, you better have protection. And if you still have a baby, you have to have that baby. Now, you could adopt that baby, but I think there has to be, he's right, Tony, there has to be some middle ground here with some of these laws.
Middle ground, yes. But then again, you can't contradict yourself because you're saying that your opinion you make into a law. We don't want to make anybody's opinion into law.
True.
So we let them have their choices.
True. They should have their choices.
It's not okay,
right.
But we're not going to make our opinions into a law.
Exactly. If I was putting something into law and I had the ability to do that, that's what I would do. But you're absolutely right. All right, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to get more into Melissa's field, right? Hey. She does this Girl Chat Sports. She does this podcast.
Yeah.
We could talk more about Donald Trump, and I could complain a little bit more, but we'll take a break from that. We'll get into the sports aspect of things, and I want to get to, of course, the LA Lakers firing their coach. Yes. The Knights are in Game 2 today. The Masters. We'll start with a little bit of golf. We'll talk about that when we come back with Melissa Ferris in studio. We'll take a quick break. Be back right after this. You're listening to the Vegas Take on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDWN.